Welcome back to another SAM.gov Bids Live, where we walk through our small business solicitations together on SAM and answer your questions along the way. This way you can start bidding and winning. Today we have 5 small business solicitations pulled up that we will be jumping into in just a second. But if you are new here and you don't want to miss future SAM.gov bids episodes like this one, consider subscribing to the channel and clicking the notification bell. This way you can ask your questions live on future streams as well. And if you do happen to be someone who has recently registered in SAM and you're looking to get started in bidding and you know that you don't know what you don't know, if that makes sense, feel free to check out my website, govconmethod.com, for free and paid resources that were designed specifically to support new federal contractors just like you that were, again, recently registered and you're looking to start bidding and going after some contracts. So let me go ahead and share my screen really quick and give you a glimpse of what we're going to be looking at today. Bid number 1, we have a office janitorial, lots of janitorial work. Number 2, we have furniture purchase, which looks like it's for Defense Distribution Center. Number 3, we have truck bed capsules. So I know we've had a number of requests for more like product buys. So that's why I included this one and the furniture one, as well as some leasing. So I did actually find for the Department of Agriculture to lease office and related space in Elyria, Ohio, if I pronounced that correctly. And then if we have time, we will get to also an event management system and virtual event technology solution. Looks like it's going to be more IT and software driven. But again, if this is the first time you're catching one of these and you don't know how it works, this is live. This is totally live. So we basically go through the bids one at a time. In between each bid, as we go through them, we take a break to check the chat, answer questions live. So we'll get to those after our first bid review today. And guys, just so you know, I don't go through any of these ever before going through them with you live. So the first time you're seeing these is the first time I'm seeing these. This way, if there's something that catches me off guard or there's something that's weird, and I always say every bid is different, this way you kind of get to see it in its rawest and truest form. I think there's the most opportunity for you to learn rather than me giving you something that's kind of like polished and I've already gone through and made sense of. This is my first time reading these. So let's go ahead and get started. Number 1, our office janitorial. This is for the Department of Agriculture. This actually is an award. So this is interesting. Let me just check and make sure I did my other ones properly. So number 2 is a solicitation that's due on the 22nd. Number 3 is due on the 20th. These all seem to be okay. Looks like I messed up a little bit. So we've got a pre-solicitation in here. We've got an award in here as well. Looks like my filter wasn't pulling only solicitations. So this one's actually an award. So it's going to mess up our flow a little bit today, but that's okay. We'll just pivot and adjust on the fly. This is live and not a problem. But just so you know, you can look at awards. There is a janitorial contract that was awarded for what looks like $121,680, and that went out to Absolute Janitorial Services, LLC. Let's see here. This was in Utah. And this actually, what do we have here? Is this the actual award that they've attached, or is this the solicitation? We can still take a peek at it, even though it's not what we would normally take a look at. Interesting, they're saying total award amount $23,000, but that's probably just going to be for the base year. Is there just 1 year? Let's see. We do have their signature, but they didn't obviously include the winner's signature. Again, they're saying the total amount of the award is $23,400. So that, again, if you're seeing what I'm seeing, that 23,000 is not matching the 121. And so at first glance, you're going to think that's not for the full contract. It's not likely to see a janitorial contract for just 1 year. This probably is a base plus. Yeah. I don't know. It's throwing me. I was just about to say it's probably a base plus 4, and they are showing here 2022 through 2027. But the way this CLIN looks is that this price is for everything. My hope is that it's just for the base year. Could be high. So it's a little uncertain at this point. Let me see. Do we have the actual award number itself? Yeah, they're calling this the award number. Another thing we can do is go over to FPDS. Since we're on this and we're just kind of going with this, you can go to Fpsgov, Federal Procurement Data System. So this is pulling up, and we can actually see the more full answer. And yeah, there's actually saying the entire base and all option is in fact 23.4. And if you've never been on here, it's pretty cool. It'll tell you how many offers received. There was 12. Okay, so this company won out of 12. And yeah, so I don't know why. Again, this was my fact checking, and the fact checking checked out. So I don't know why they have 121K here when everything is saying a different number. I wanted to say, you know, let's just do the quick math. Let's do 23.4 times 5. And that's just assuming there's no escalation. That gets us at 117. 117 is really close to 121. And if they had an escalation in there, it would put you right pretty much exactly at 121. So I think the verdict is still out. I'm still curious if that's what this is representing. If this is in fact just for the 1 year, not for a whole 5 years. Because let's go in the other direction. Let's divide this by 5, right? 23.4. If that is for base in all years, then that's going to be less than $5,000 a year. Okay, so you could play around. You could ask contracting. You could email Thomas here. This may have even been one that we looked at on the stream, because I definitely recognize Thomas Wenner's info. But just a few examples of some things that you can play around with. If you're newer, again, the website was fpds.gov. I'll go ahead and just punch that in the chat. And good morning and good afternoon to everybody who's just jumping on and joining. We are multi-streaming to YouTube and LinkedIn Live. And then later on, these are all uploaded to Spotify. In case you're someone who loves podcasts, like doing the car ride thing, find us on Spotify as well. And you can check these out on podcast. But I think that's all that we'll really touch on, since this was in fact only an award. Good morning. Hello, Lala. Nice to see you. Regular community member hanging out with us. And again, if you can't see it because we're on LinkedIn, if you don't see the chat, fpds.gov, you got to make sure you type in the award number, not the solicitation number. It won't pull up. So if you have the actual award number, you can type that into that website and get some more of those details like we were looking at. Good morning, Mackie Shea 1. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for hanging out with us. So number 2, we have this for that furniture buy that I was telling you about, because we've got some questions about, you know, Derek, show some products. So I haven't seen this. Let's go ahead and see what it looks like. This is for the DLA. You're going to see a lot of product, parts, pieces, etc. with DLA. This is due September 22nd. So it gives you about a week. Small business set aside. They do have an office furniture PSC code specifically. And then for the NAICS code, they have wood office furniture manufacturing. This is going to be delivered to New Cumberland, Pennsylvania. I've actually been to this location of the DLA personally. And it says for the procurement and delivery and assembly, so keep that all in mind, including items like workstations, beds, mattresses, chairs, tables for building 911 building improvement project. So I actually did give us quite a bit of information. It's furniture. It's going to be pretty straightforward. For attachments, we have a solicitation. We have a statement of work. We have item description, schedule of supplies. So we could maybe anticipate a pricing worksheet there. This looks like it could be amendment number 1. Item description, schedule of supplies, and furniture Q&A doc. Some of these attachments look redundant, so we'll just have to dive in and see. We'll start with the solicitation first. So this is only 9 pages. So we do find our instruction offers and our evaluation factors. What are they asking for you? And your proposal in your response. If you want to go after this, what do you need to provide them? This is what they're telling you. Submit quotes electronically to David Gilson. Okay, they want a header on all page. What is a CUI? Controlled unclassified information. Okay, so they want all page marked CUI, which is very different. We don't see that very often. So you would have to do that. And then your quote shall include a technical and descriptive literature of the items being offered. No past performance information is being required. And then for the evaluation, it's going to be what's most advantageous to the government, price and other factors considered. And the award will be made to the acceptable quoter with the overall lowest evaluated price. All right. But evaluated. So they are going to be looking at your technical piece. You have to be found to be technically acceptable first. And then this is kind of weird. This is factor 2, past performance. The quoter will be evaluated on the recent relevant past performance. Are you scratching your head right now like I am? Did I read that incorrectly? Let's reread it. No past performance information is required to be provided. And then in the evaluation factors, the quoter will be evaluated on the recent relevant past performance. Okay, so the wording is extremely confusing there. I would be asking contracting, is past performance going to be rated and required or not? Because page 4, bottom of page 4 is different than the top of page 4 of the solicitation. Factor 3, price. We know it's going to be lowest price, but they're not going to want to see unbalanced pricing, things like that. What about the front here? So remember, this is delivery and install. This is an RFQ. They're giving you the address. This bid is due in like a week. You're going to need to fill this information out like we will sometimes see. And then primarily your takeaway from this is your proposal response and how it's going to be evaluated. So what else do we have? We have a statement of work. We'll quickly take a look at that. Not expecting a huge amount. Yeah, it's just 1 page. Obtain 1 quote from each vendor for the necessary labor, material, and equipment. You want to do a site visit, but these are active construction sites. So you need to wear hard hats and all that good stuff. So have your subs come prepared if you're going to have someone who's looking at this, is what they're telling you. Item descriptions, probably going to be some more specs, salient features, and quantities, it appears. So here's bed, here's mattress, here's wardrobe. This is the information you would share with subs or whoever is quoting this with you, manufacturer, supplier, whatever. They're obviously, this is going to give them a lot of information. They're saying, pay attention, they're saying this or government equal. So they're not saying name brand for these. It's something to look out for when you're dealing with product procurements. Schedule supplies, I'm anticipating pricing here. And let's see, there's 3738 cleanse. Let's see if this matches up with this, because that would be nice. Comes down to 31. So it doesn't look like it's a total matchup to this table. I'll just quickly see if we can see why there's a difference. See if there's, yeah, I'm not sure why. So you would want to go through this and match this up with this and make sure everything is lining up. Because it looks like, yeah, everything's, so there's the F1A and F1B. So that's probably what's taking it out. But if you were actually seriously looking at this, you could and then the numbers don't add up. So that's probably why there's an account. My guess is this probably will add up. It's just the numbers a little bit off because they're naming it different things in here versus here where it's just straight numbers all the way down. Okay. So actually extremely straightforward in terms of the pricing. You're going to price for one, and then you're just going to do the total. So 1 times quantity will be your total. So 1 times 6, 1 times 3, 1 times 9. Pretty, I don't know, 5th grade math, 4th grade math. Aside from this, there is this item, which I think we already looked at. I think this is just a double upload, unless there was changes made to it. Yeah, this is the same thing. Double check to make sure there weren't changes made to that. Same with the schedule of supplies. They've double uploaded this as well. It could just be a mistake. Would double check. That's why when I was looking at these, it's like the naming seemed to be a little bit redundant. And then this Q&A document, though, this is new, and this is good to always check Q&A to see what we have. So there's 4 questions and 4 answers. Zoom in a bit for you so you can actually see that. There you go. And good morning, good afternoon, everybody. We'll be checking the chat in just a second. If you have your questions, post them. So the following questions have been submitted. All right, so number 1, are there stairs involved? Elevator access, first floor, stairs to enter a building. Guys, whenever you're asking questions to the government, it's best to use whole sentences. They did respond, but asking questions to contracting, I always say you should try to find something to submit to them because it's called indirect marketing. And it's also letting them know that you're showing interest in the solicitation. Sometimes, not very often, but they'll just cancel solicitation because they don't think anybody's going to bid on it or some other reason because they don't think there's huge demand. You could be, and this happened with one of my coaching clients. Literally just this past week, I was on a call on Zoom with them, and they were letting me know that they were halfway through putting together a solicitation, and then it got canceled. And we don't know why it got canceled. It is the end of the year, and one of the things, not that this is a silver bullet or anything, but letting contracting know that you're working on it, not by saying, hey, I'm working on this, but if you ask an intelligent question that demonstrates your interest is one good way to let them know that this is something you're going to be bidding on. And that, in a nutshell, is not going to prevent them from taking strategic action if they need to, but it's just another thing that works for you in addition to getting your name out there, indirect marketing, not just blasting out CAPE statements, but actually showing interest in a bid by submitting real questions and then going on to bid on it. And then doing a debrief, whether you win or not, then you get actual, FaceTime or you get on a call with contracting. That's the way to market, guys. Your marketing efforts are tied to your bidding efforts. Instead of doing marketing stuff over here and then bidding stuff over here, and they're not synergistic. They're not, 1 + 1 = 3. They're just totally random lanes. There's a lot of people out there that are telling you to market, but the way they're telling you to do it, I do not agree with at all. You could spend a whole year doing that with nothing to show. Or you could do this and respond to, 10 bids and win 2 or 3 of those and have built a relationship for future. What is the lifetime value of a customer, right? So in year 2, how many more will you be able to go after that they put out as well, right? Thing is, guys, I know I'm super on a soapbox right now, but the thing is, you are small business teams of 1, 2, and 3, okay? You don't have all this time to waste. You have to work extremely systematic and in a very focused way. You can't be doing fluff activities. You can't be doing things that are not directly tied to winning, which we call revenue generating activities. You need to make sure you're doing revenue generating activities as a priority in your business. If it's you or you and a spouse, you and a business partner, or you and a couple other companies that are looking to go after stuff, and just rando marketing or trying to build a relationship with 1 or 2 customers for a whole year. And then when you don't win, you have nothing to show for the whole year. It's much, much better, much more advantageous to you to do it through bidding. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions about that, obviously it's something I'm very passionate about, like many things. Happy to expand more on that if you have any questions. But otherwise, does this need to be GSA? This procurement is not solicited through GSA. All right. Does this need to BGSA was the question. Number 3, concerning item F2, wardrobe. The picture does not match the item. Please advise. The item description and size actually is correct. The item number is corrected to read the correct number. All right. And then number 4, how close can an 83-foot tractor trailer get to the building? And delivery hours. They're saying approximately 50 feet. And then 7 through 3:30. So if you're bidding on this, this may be helpful to you, may not for this particular bid, but always make sure you check the questions because you just never know. So that will be it for that one. I think we've spent enough time on it. Good morning, DD Black. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Happy to have you. As well as Mide, Mide. I see the characters there. And many blessings. Many blessings to you. Thank you very much. And guys, if you're liking this video, hit that like button if you would. Definitely helps us out. And if you're just jumping in for the first time, or you're new to the channel and you're not subscribed yet, consider subscribing. That way you can get on future lives and ask future questions. If you are in the government contracting space, or if you think you're going to be coming in the space and you want to come back and you want to have our community here and our channel as a resource, all great reasons to subscribe and make sure you got us on your list. Adia Brookins, hello from VA. Hello from trying to think of where I'm from. Hello from Alabama. Thanks for hanging out with us. Absolutely. Yeah, I moved from Michigan 2 years ago, so I sometimes have to catch myself. Luckily, the humidity and the heat and the UV index in the south is finally starting to show some relief in the month of September, because it was a brutal summer. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on to our next bid, and just keep the questions coming as you have them, and we'll check those, like I said, in between bids. Our next is for truck bed capsule. So another procurement for a GM 3500. All right. This is going to be for Mick, Army, Fort Drum. This is due September 20th. So you got about a week. Small business set aside. Truck trailer manufacturing. And this is going to be at the building 2 at Armistead and Woodruff. So they're giving you the address there. Okay. Again, this is a truck bed capsule. We don't know how many. So they have done a copy and paste of a lot of the solicitation information in the body of the listing here. Okay. So it's not always nice to go through. I prefer to rely on attachments if that's the case. Does look like it's kicking us back to actually Unison. Okay. So Unison Marketplace for this one. Sometimes it's Fed Connect as well. You'll see this a good amount actually with product procurements. If you're not familiar with Unison Marketplace, formerly Fed Bid, it is a third party. It's totally, I mean, I'm not vouching for them. I'm not an advocate for them, but it is a safe intermediary. What they do is they act as that third party marketplace for product procurements that are really not like requiring a proposal. So instead, the way Unison works is it's a reverse auction. Okay, so here they're telling us two of these truck beds, and they're giving you, must be 72 inches interior height. They're giving you all the specs. What you'll do, they have the attachments here. And it's very easy to create an account. So you create an account, just username, login. It's nothing like SAM or anything like that. Download the template, and then you bid on this. And then it's a reverse auction where you're going to set minimum prices, minimum floors, minimum increments. So it's going to essentially be a race to the bottom. And whoever is willing to go the lowest is going to win. So for example, every auction, you want to start high, right? So you start high, say you don't have a lot of competition. Well, maybe you don't have to go all the way down to your floor price and you end up being the lowest bidder. And maybe you end up making more on this than you thought, right? That could happen. Or vice versa could happen where you go all the way down to your floor price. The main point with this is you don't want to set a floor price that you're not willing to do the work at, right? So when it comes to reverse auctions or just bidding on SAM, truly bidding on SAM, I tell my clients, I just tell everybody here on the channel as well, you want to make sure you have a number that you can go to sleep at night. You're not going to lose sleep worrying about it. There is such thing as bad business, and we never want to take bad business. which means we never go below what we're comfortable with. So you want to make sure you keep that in mind with setting a floor price for these truck capsules or anything else that you decide you want to get started with going to Unison Marketplace. I'm not big on Unison. I'm not an advocate of them. If you want to do, parts and pieces and goods and commodities, Unison is kind of the place to be. But if you're wanting to do services and everything else, you should really just learn how to do SAM.gov and get really good at it, okay? Because it's much more profitable. The contracts are going to go for, base and multiple option years often versus this, you could be doing 50 bids a year and it's just kind of the rat wheel grind. And I know that can kind of be enticing. It's almost like trading stocks. You kind of get that high and it's cool, but I'm telling you that wears off. Hey, I'm going to buy everything on Amazon. Doesn't work. Prices on Amazon change too often. So that doesn't work. A lot of people are trying to do the Amazon thing with government contracting. It's a dead end street. I can promise you that. For the long-term game, you may be able to do something in the short term, but it's not a viable long-term business model. So it's up to you. And like I said, sometimes you'll find these where SAM does kick you back to Unison because they're kind of like the number one place for it outside of SAM. So that's why I don't spend a whole lot of time doing product things anyways, because it's really not like what we're trying to do here on the channel and the community in the space. All right. Hello, everybody. Speaking of focus, as a consulting company, are you able to sell a product? Example, a medical consultancy service. So we're a company, we offer medical consulting. Can they sell to no medical products to the government? So can they sell medical products to the government? IG, iPhones, and other stuff. Yeah, you can do whatever you want for the most part. I'm not saying you should do whatever you want, but you arguably, if you can create a winning offer and win on the bid, it doesn't matter that your business is a medical consultancy. If your core is medical consultancy, you want to add in a few NAICS codes, you can. Every bid is different and everybody's business is different. And that's what's unique about government contracting and specifically federal contracting and, SAM.gov, right? Because we can add in the NAICS codes, the PSC codes as we want to, or as our business, evolves and pivots and changes over time, we're going to be able to reflect that as well. So there's nothing saying that you can or cannot do anything. You can do anything you want. It's up to you to be able to find and bid competitively and fulfill contracts if you win. That's the bigger question. If you want to do this, well, can you actually win and fulfill and be competitive all at the same time? Because it's not your bread and butter. If you can, nobody's stopping you, right? So there's not really rights and wrongs and things like that in the space. It's just, what can you do? Domino Effect 4 finally caught you live. Yes, you finally caught us. Typically Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, guys. If you're newer or you're not sure what the schedule is, it's going to be typically Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, because Tuesdays and Fridays is when I'm on Zoom with coaching clients in our program. So I'm either spending time here or I'm spending time inside of my business, right? And it's usually always around noon Central Time. I'm in Central Time. Again, subscribe to the channel and then click the notifications thing. I usually set it up every morning. That way you at least get a couple hours notice if you want to plan it for like your lunch or anything like that as well. That's why you want to get those notifications. If it's something you're wanting to catch and you're like, hey, I keep missing these. I keep seeing these being on replay, but I keep missing them. Yeah, for sure. Actually, we already answered that one. Speaking of focus. Gotcha. Yeah, we gotcha. C. Allen, Michigan here, looking to do IT work, fiber optics in Georgia. There is a good amount of fiber optic work, and there is some in Georgia. I know that because this contract I didn't win, but another person at my company won it, and we had a 2-year fiber install job in Georgia. So there are some agencies in Georgia, but I mean, just in the South and just in general, there's definitely hope for you in this space, C. Allen, if you're wanting to get into this. Henry Torres, if I sell goods to the government as a small business, do I have to come up with the cost of the merchandise? Yeah, no. So the government never fronts the money. You have to come up with all the money. You have to get it delivered. The government's going to inspect it. If something's wrong, you have to fix it. Then you have to fight back with whoever, you drop shipped it from. And all of that's going to be on your dime, right? Best case scenario, they ship the right thing, they ship it to the right location, and there's no issues. And then the government will let you invoice once they have passed the inspection. So yeah, they're never, ever, ever going to give you money up front. Not even a portion of it. Not even a little bit. Oral Wilson, do you need any form of liability insurance to bid? Not to bid, but to perform. You should have general liability insurance for your company, and that is written into the solicitations. So that if you win a contract, basically get with your insurance company, you can execute that. If you're not wanting to carry it before you have any work to perform on, just know that the government may ask you to provide, a deck page or a copy of your insurance to ensure that you have those limits, which are met by typical general liability insurance, and it's really not that expensive. Do you ever fear that they will eventually get too competitive? I'm not sure what you mean, Domino. What will get too competitive? Like bidders on SAM? Not really, because if you look at the last 10 years of new small businesses registering in SAM, it's gone down dramatically. There is a huge deficit in the formula of new businesses coming into the space compared to 2008. It's just down, 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 down. They have the numbers posted over at the SBA. So it's actually, that's one way to look at it. Now, the other thing that could affect competition is, okay, well, the companies inside government contracting that are already here and that are joining could become more active. That's another angle to look at competition, right? Not just new businesses joining, but the businesses that are existing becoming more active and therefore becoming more competitive. Don't really see that happening. And the thing too is, as businesses grow, so does their food chain and their appetite. So people will, the clients that I work with, our program, we focus between 50K and 5 million. Okay. It's kind of a big sweet spot, but it is our sweet spot, 50,000 to 5 million. After that, you've pretty much outgrown what I can help with. And businesses who are serious and actually stick this out and become proven over, a 3-year time period, they're going to start going after larger and larger contracts. So they kind of graduate from this sweet spot, so they don't just sit here. So that opens up space for the new ones. And that's kind of always going on. So kind of the last point on becoming over competitive, I'm not really forecasting that, especially since, in general, we're not having a lot of, relatively a lot compared to what it used to be a decade ago. All right. Nia Wilhite or White or Wilhite. Hi, I have an RFQ was issued on the 9th, due on the 16th, but the due date was changed to the 14th. Is that a sign that a company has already won? No, that's not a sign that the company has already won. It could be contracting pulling it forward because they're needing the extra time, because we're in the final month of the fiscal year, arguably the busiest month for a lot of agencies, right? So it's probably more of a logistics thing on their end, saying, hey, we actually need the contract to be performed ASAP, right? So think of the start date or the period of performance, whatever that is for your contract, Nia. They could just be pulling it forward because they need as much time as possible to get the work done. Or the last thing is they're just wanting a couple extra days to review the bids. Okay, so it's probably more on their end. I don't think it's at all indicative that somebody has already won. So if you've submitted, you can still keep those fingers crossed. What I tell my coaching clients as well is just make sure you confirm receipt, and then you can follow up every other week. So if, say, you respond to this a few weeks ago, you're probably due for a follow-up as well. So does that not affect you and your relationship with individual agencies / contracting officers? Like you say, you are a jack of all trades. Let me remember what this is. I know we had a previous question about this. Okay. Yeah. So the selling the other things or opening up your umbrella. Here's the thing, guys. Most of you do not have relationships with individual agencies or contracting officers. Like, none of you have, almost none of you do not have those relationships, especially those who are asking this type of questions. So here's the other thing. Relationships marketing, everybody gets it wrong. And there's a lot of people out there that are kind of saying they're putting the wrong emphasis at the wrong stage. You can grow into doing as much marketing and relationship building, going to conferences, doing capability statements, right? Doing sources sought notices, all this stuff. You can grow into as much of that as you want. It is not quote unquote wrong. But my bold opinion is that it is wrong for you right now if you're recently registered in SAM and you're trying to figure out how to bid. None of those things fit into that equation. All you should be focused on is trying to bid and win. Do that a few times. Learn the core, learn the fundamentals, right? You don't want to start taking supplements if you're not even going to the gym working out yet, right? So those things are there, okay? Not saying they're wrong, but it's wrong to put the priority on those up front when you don't even know what the heck you're doing. And this is soapbox. This isn't towards any specific person. This is just something that I'm seeing a lot in the space. People don't know what the heck they're doing when it comes to reading a solicitation, putting together a compliant response to a solicitation, whether it's an RFP or RFQ. Too many are submitting their first bids saying, I don't think I did that right. I don't think I did a good job, right? So that's what we're focused on, coming and breaking through that. And I know it can get confusing because a lot of people in the space are saying, you need to market, you need to build these relationships, but most of you are not building relationships. And if you are doing it, I don't even know if you're doing it the right way, right? Because if you're building relationships without bidding, then the relationships are not going to go anywhere because no one's going to do you a solid fist bump and slide a contract across the table unless they're going to do an 8A sole source, which we don't really focus on this channel. So it really is not a problem. For newbies and new businesses, does it make sense to start from products to build past performance? No, I don't think so. If you're trying to go into services, learn SAM, do services. If you're trying to do products, do products. Because if you're like, okay, I eventually want to be at services, but hey, let me start small. Let me jump on Unison. It's easy. Just put in a number, get some prices, right? I'm going to build my past performance, right? Right? Wrong. I need to get a buzzer. Because that past performance, we call it the 2 R's. And some of you who have watched these recent episodes know what this is for past performance. What are the 2 R's? Recency and relevancy. Okay. So your past performance may be recent because you delivered, say these, the truck bed covers that we looked at or the furniture, but now you're trying to go after staffing or you're trying to go after, whatever, janitorial or whatever is the service you're going after. Well, showing them a contract for truck bed covers or furniture is not going to be relevant. So maybe recent, but it won't be relevant. So it's not going to really help you. So instead, it would have been better for you to just invest that time and that energy into going after services to begin with. Or heck, you can do subcontracting. You can do some stuff in the commercial space because if you do that, then that's going to be direct past performance related to that service. We all have a Rolodex of people who own companies. Hey, can I staff a person at your company for 6 months and put them through my payroll or whatever just to gain some past performance? I'd rather you do that than start trying to, flip products because it's not going to really help you that much from a compliance standpoint. And too many people who are talking about this stuff are not talking enough about compliance. 50K to 5 million is very sweet indeed. And that's why that's our sweet spot. That's why these are the folks that we work with because it gives you some space to grow. But winning a $100,000 or $200,000 contract is not so overwhelming that you're going to freak out. A lot of, the members that we work with, our students in our program, their first contract is 100 or 200K, and they're just fine with that. They're able to handle it. Oral melange, when you buy products, lots of product stuff, guys. This is what I get when I do one product. I do 2 product bids and now we get the product questions. So this is why I don't do product stuff. When you buy products for a contract from third parties, is it best to practice request a quote from the seller? And if yes, do you buy those items with a business account or a consumer? I can't really answer that. It's just too much down the rabbit hole. It's not something that I think you should be doing. When you buy products for a contract from third parties, is it best to practice request a quote from the seller? Guys, anytime you're getting quotes, you need to get 3 quotes. It's the rule of 3. Okay. And if yes, do you buy those items with a business account or a consumer? Yeah, I can't answer you on the second part. Business account for what? I don't know. Like bank account are you talking about? What type of account? Like a account with the company? You talking about like a vendor account with the manufacturer? Something like that? War Dog, what's going on? Been emailing back and forth with the DLA and resubmitted my registration, and they have been really fast, which is good. Within 1 to 2 days, actually, hoping the last email and resubmission results in a cage code. Me too, man. It's hopefully coming very soon. Product. It's okay. It's okay because I know there's a lot of questions out there about it. I'm just bold in my opinion. I'm not saying you can never do products, or if product is your thing, don't let me persuade you out of doing it. I'm just saying if your goal is to come up to services, that's where I kind of stand firm. All right, guys, next bid here. So we've had a number of questions for like real estate and leasing. So this is my one episode where I'm succumbing to products and leasing stuff. So we have a leasing contract for office space out of Ohio for the Department of Agriculture. This is due October 13th, but it was originally due October 28th. So just like NIA's, they actually pulled that forward by about 2 weeks. But this is October. This is after the fiscal year. So they're giving us information in terms of square footage for the office space, 2 parking spots. Looks like it's a 10-year lease up to, and then it looks like a minimum of 5 years. They want expressions of interest. And this is actually, this was the other mistake I made. This is a pre-sol, all right? So for this, they're actually doing a pre-sol, and they're actually allowing you to express interest in this by answering these questions. So we're not going to really go too much into this. We'll take a look at it. Just for those of you who are into leasing, just know that this and things like this are out there. So what they want for this is existing building, name and address, location. If it's new construction, they want the parcel number and lot plans. They want the square footage. They want the date that the space is going to be available. You have to give this to all of them. Give all these to them. Amount or type of parking available. They want photos. And then information on the existing condition of the building too. And they are saying any submission received without the written authorization to represent the owners of the building will not be considered until such time in the document. Because here's the thing, guys, and I've said this before. Okay, so people who are just registered as SAM have to, or these property developers, right? People who do these buildings, have these buildings available, they have to be registered in SAM. Well, yeah, they could, but they're probably never, ever going to find like a solicitation that's in their area because federal contracting is all over the country versus you being kind of like a federal contracting property management type thing where you're working with, the agent or the broker who is licensed and able to perform on that in that particular location. They're not registered in SAM. They're not the ones who are able to do the federal contracting piece and oversee the government contract. It's the same as working with a sub, right? Like you work with subs that are local to the area. You're not only restricted to doing, self-performance work. So it's a little bit different with leasing, but that's kind of how that looks. We have a map and we have a summary. USDA, again, this looks like that same copy and pasted questions to express interest. And then we just have a map. So this is going to be a short white paper for a response if this is something that you're interested in. Again, here is the map. And you're going to send that off to Antonio Rodriguez, put it on your company letterhead. Letterhead should always include, cage code, solicitation number, all that good stuff, who it's intended for. So this is actually, like I said, a bit of a mistake at the beginning because this is a pre-sol. It's not a full-blown solicitation. But since we pulled it, we looked at it anyways. So, and I think we have one more. We do have time. We're going through these pretty quick today. So we do have time for one more. Money Talk Show TV. Over 10 years experience in logistics and management. So I'm currently taking PM certs and looking to get in the general contracting industry. New follower, and thanks for your hands-on information. Hey, thanks a lot, Money Talk Show TV. Glad that it's helpful, and welcome to the channel here, and thanks for hanging out with us. Earl Wilson, if you sublease, do you need additional insurance to general insurance? So you need whatever insurance the solicitation is saying that you need to carry, right? So building insurance is obviously going to be different than construction insurance, which is obviously going to be different than environmental. So you just have to read and find out. If you have a question, you can always ask contracting. Every bid is different. So let's go ahead and take a look at our last one. And this is for that IT/software event management system and virtual event technology solution. This is for the Administrative Office of the U.S. Courts. This is due September 16th. So due in 2 days, not a lot of time on this. Actually looks like there's potentially no set aside on this because it is blank, but I will show you how to check if they have a solicitation. My apologies. I should have did a better job at making sure that these were all small business solicitations. I was in a mad dash, had some stuff going on this morning. So let me just quickly take a look at this RFP. So we do have this actually standard form 33. For example, on an SF 1449 form, they will check boxes for the set aside. So that's what I'm just double checking, but I'm not seeing it in here. I will do a Control F, Control Find. Not seeing it there either. Doing a search for small business, that's not showing up either. So we do have some upfront reason to believe that this is in fact full and open. So the teachable opportunity for this is whenever you don't see a set aside, sometimes that means it's full and open competition, which means anybody could go after this, including Boeing and Microsoft. At which point, our sweet spot of 50K to 5 million, this kind of potentially does not fall within it. So it allows us to make a easy no bid when we see these. And you will come across this. So let me just try to find one more because I don't think that's the best one. I don't want to go out on that note. We'll do another office space one. I'll just pull that up. Sterling Heights, Michigan. Crazy. That is where I'm from. So I have a little bit of bias. Where is this at? Where are they looking? So the government currently occupies office-related spaces and buildings under a lease in Sterling Heights. That is expiring. Okay. The government is considering only one alternative space if it's economically advantageous. In making this determination, this is another pre-sol. Yeah, because this is my search from this morning. I didn't search for solicitations only. That's why I'm getting only pre-sols. But what the heck? We'll continue on. In making the determination, the government will consider, among other things, the availability of the alternate space, as well as the cost incurred to move there, basically. I'm just curious what this is. I'm just having fun at this point. It's a weird kind of day, but Let's just embrace it. So 10 years, minimum 5 years, like the other one. You know, if you're down in Warren, if you're familiar with Michigan, they've got the Tank Automotive Command. They got Tacom and Tardec down there. But this is Sterling Heights. So just some, you know, high-level stuff, expressions of interest. Very similar to that other one we looked at, actually. Can I find something that is a solicitation? I feel like we do so much janitorial, but there's a janitorial one. Here's that truck bed one that I looked at. I don't want to redo my searches, so we'll just stick to this. Fire catering. RX Fire Catering. That's an award, though. Biomedical research requirement. Farrier service. We'll just take another minute or so. We got a little bit of extra time today. Camera install. I mean, that's doable. Pretty straightforward. Not going to be huge. This is for the Air Force. This is a solicitation. This is due on the 16th. Small business set aside. They want 10 Pelco Cerix IXE series box cameras. And they also want 8 pan tilt zoom cameras. So 18 cameras, probably going to have to be installed too. We have a bid schedule. We have the CUI again. We're seeing that a lot lately. We have some sort of a fair opportunity justification. We have a statement of work. We have a diagram. We have a solicitation, and we have Q&A. Bid schedule is going to tell us a lot. Take a quick peek at that. That's the old one. It's going to tell us a whole lot. A whole lot. Let me make sure you can see this. A heck of a lot. Equipment installation. Doesn't get easier than that, folks. Don't tell me you can't go after services on SAM. You'll have a sub. I'll quote this for you. Close that one out too. Close that one out. And you'll have your sub break it down by labor and equipment. What's this fair opportunity exception thing? So they're basically saying brand name justification is what this is. They're saying this is what we want. We want this Pelco 10 and Pelco 8 cameras. Yeah, so that's just justification, which they do. Otherwise, they can sometimes do name, brand, or equal / equivalent, at which point in time you could propose something maybe cheaper, but they don't want that. This is the actual solicitation. This is 7 pages. They're giving you the buildings. Just basically, here we go. Like where and what, needs to be done. And here's the scope. And like these are the names for like the POCs you're gonna have to coordinate with because there's all these different rooms, right? Here's a diagram. Not a whole lot with this one. It could be price only. Yeah, so diagram, which you would show the subs for all the hookups. This is, I misspoke. This is the solicitation itself. The other one was a statement of work. So this is the solicitation. Please provide the following in your quote. All documents required under number 18. Reps inserts, SAM registration. Reps inserts again. Reps inserts again. And reps inserts again. What else? Is that it? Evaluation is going to be technical and price. It's going to be lowest price technically acceptable though, but in order to be found technically acceptable first, they're going to look at your technical, and your technical is this. Submit your technical approach, basically how you're going to do the work. Do not just repeat the statement of work. Demonstrate how you're going to do it. You're either going to be found to be acceptable or unacceptable. This is going to be pass, fail. You made the mark, you checked the box, or you didn't. And then price, only bids that are evaluated as technically acceptable, that's why that comes first, will be evaluated by the price, and that's going to be the TEP, the total evaluated price. Whoever's lowest after checking the boxes is going to win. So if you're going to spend time going after this, and here's those reps asserts that they highlighted for you. If you're new to doing that sort of stuff, check the boxes. But yeah, if you check the boxes, the other boxes for your technical, then lowest price will win. Pretty straightforward. Good stuff. What is your opinion and not advice in any way? So what's your opinion and not the advice? So what I actually think. You want my real thoughts. That's how I'm reading this. What are the 5 best service industries? Janitorial I like because there's a lot of bids for it. Staffing I like. There's a multitude and diversity with staffing. I like staffing. I like base ops where you can do like grounds, landscaping, but you can also like provide courier services because they need like mailmen and stuff like that. And just doing other stuff on the base for like base maintenance. So that's like base ops. I shouldn't have grouped in grounds into that because I think that is a good one too, because it's year round, you know, because they'll have the contracts for the mowing and the trimming and all that stuff in the summer. Then they do all of the, you know, the snow plowing and salt and sanding and snow removal in the winter. So there's a lot of that as a service. That's 4. And then what else would be top of the list? I mean, I consider construction a service, but it's one of those things that you're either in or you're not. There is a fair amount of like trucking, transportation, freight, logistics stuff. And I do have some clients that are going after that. So that would potentially qualify as well. How can we be tapped in with your coaching? How to be a student and what does it entail? Yeah, sure. I'll kind of just quickly share my website. And guys, a lot of folks on right now. So hello, if you just joined us. We just wrapped up our last bid, but if you have questions, we do have a few more minutes if you want to get your question answered in the chat. Now is a good time to post that. But yeah, anybody who's, as I made mention, anybody who's interested, I'm constantly kind of updating my website, but you can always go to my website for the latest updates for things, just govconmethod.com. We're all in on bidding on winning. You can schedule a call. Got a calendar here for you to book. Before you do that, you must watch this video to make sure it's going to be a good fit for you. So I'm not going to go into the details of how the coaching and the program works because this is a very succinct way of answering those questions. And we got our testimonials here, people winning, people sharing. So if you never checked it out, you've never been to my website, feel free to check that out. All that information is there. Angela Watkins, hello, I'm new at this and I'm in the educational services. I would like to tap into your coaching. Yeah, for sure, Angela. Again, check out the website as well. And again, that video, it's like, 10, 15 minutes. It's pretty short, but it's very thorough. I recommend you check that out. And if you're a good fit, you can kind of book a call and speak to a member of my team. And they can either answer more questions, we can get you enrolled if it's going to be a good fit. That's kind of how that next step process works. But it's really all about, because we're super selective who we work with, we need you to be ready. You got to have a cage code. You got to be registered in SAM. You got to be actively looking at bids so that you can take advantage of the coaching and the training that we offer. Otherwise, it's like, that's okay. Come back in a month or two, get these things done first, get the boxes checked, and then, you can come back and we can have that conversation again, if it makes sense. Is a DUNS number no longer required? Correct. Yeah. So I'll show you something really fast here. So no more DUNS numbers, guys. No more DUNS numbers. We're on to the unique entity ID, so the UIE. So if you go to SAM.gov and you just go to get started, you follow this step. They're going to kind of tell you what the steps are. Then you can go I think the get started button works here. Yeah, so you're going to start answering questions, and this is going to get you your UIE. So this is really easy, and it's really fast. It's the actual cage code that a number of other people it takes time. It can take 1 to 2 months to get fully pushed through, fully registered, get your cage code. But yeah, don't do your DUNS number. That changed as of April of this year, April of 2022. Hey, Dr. Virginia, good to see you again. Thanks for always sharing and giving valuable diamonds, it looks like. Some gems, maybe. Some gems. Always glad to help, and I'm very blessed to serve. So thanks for hanging out. Money Talk Show TV for services and contracting. Well, you have to change your NAICS codes depending on the contract. So here's the thing. NAICS codes in your SAM.gov profile are fluid. You're going to kind of like have your base, like your primary NAICS, which is never going to change, and maybe a base few. But then every bid that you respond to, you need to first make sure you have that NAICS code updated in your SAM.gov profile. So you log into SAM, go into your entity, go, update that. It's going to like click through all those pages that you would normally go through when you're first registering. You just click next, next, next. It's somewhere in the middle. It's called the assertions section of your SAM.gov profile. And then you can add, edit, delete NAICS codes in there. And those ones should be fluid because what you're going after is going to change. And you don't want to end up with a SAM.gov profile that has like 30 NAICS codes in it, right? Like 5 to 10 is a pretty good sweet spot. 10 to 15 is kind of starting to push it. You don't want to give the appearance, and this is to an earlier question, you don't want to give the appearance of a jack of all trades, but in no way does it really affect your ability to win contracts. It's just, if you got a lot of stuff in there, if you're doing something like a capability briefing, or you've got somebody looking at your SAM.gov profile, they may say, well, what do these guys do? I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but they also can't not award you something just because you have 20 NAICS codes. So it's like a fine balance, meaning the ones you're not using, take those out. The ones that you're going after, make sure you're adding those in. That's the fluid part of it. Yep, for sure. All right, guys, anything else for today? Since we have so many new people here on the channel. Sharon, hey, newbie here. Hello, Sharon. I just tapped into your channel. I was just about to get to my done. So you're saying don't bother. Yeah. Don't do it. I'm saying don't do it. You don't need it. Like, it's not going to help you. It's not part of it anymore. Not for SAM.gov anyways. If you want to do like the Dun & Bradstreet just to like verify your business, you can. But for government contracting, it is off the map. It is removed. K Mickle 003, thank you for your time and insight. You are truly appreciated. Thank you so much. My question is, at what point does the capability statement come into play? Do you submit it with each bid? Yeah. So you don't submit it with each bid. Some people will put it in some bids depending, but there's a couple uses for the actual capability statement itself. They're all tied to marketing. They're not tied to bidding. It's uncommon for actual bids on SAM, true solicitations, to be asking for like your capability statement. It's uncommon. So capability statements are for a couple of things. Number one, responding to sources sought notices. So we say there's 4 stages of a bid: sources sought, pre-sol, solicitation, and then the award. So sources sought is you're kind of throwing your hat in the ring. You're letting contracting know, I'm interested in the solicitation, but at that stage, or in this job, but at that stage, that job is not even a thing yet. It's not a solicitation yet. There's no pricing. There's no proposal. It's just contracting saying, hey, we're going to have something coming out in the future, maybe in the next 60 to 90 days. Would you be interested in going after it? You throwing your hat in the ring by way of providing your CAPE statement allows them to primarily shape their procurement strategy and their set-asides. For example, if they get 10 responses from women-owned small businesses, it's very likely when the bid comes out in the future, they're going to set it aside for women-owned small business. Does that make sense? So that's one way. Another way is for just like going to GovCon conferences, right? You pass that thing out like it's kind of going out of style. It is your business card, right? So you can use your capability statement like that. Sometimes they'll do like the icebreakers or the roundtables. Everybody has their CAPE statement. I'm not big on this sort of stuff. I'm not big on marketing in this way, but that is what those people would tell you to do. And then lastly, I would say this isn't the only other thing, but you can put it on your website, kind of like a virtual download thing from your website as well. Or you can email it out and ask for a capability briefing with a contracting officer and say, hey, let me, share my capabilities with you. And then I would also like to learn more about your office, your agency, what you guys, have that's a match for us. So these are all forms of marketing. That's direct marketing. I prefer indirect marketing as it relates to bidding, but that is where they come into play. And again, you can grow into these things. It's just, do you need to be focused on them right now? Or is it something you're going to be focused on down the road? Because right now, I think you should be focused on learning the fundamentals, learning how to bid, learning how to win, bidding and winning. Then you can grow into do some of these other things. But if a capability statement is not going to win you a contract, if going to a conference is not going to win you a contract, or responding to a source of sought notice isn't going to win you anything, then it's taking time away from doing the things that will get you a win. And if your goal is to win, we need to do first things first, right? We can't get it twisted. We can't get it backwards. Hey, J Storm 310, good to see you again. Our SAM profile has expired. You need to update it. We would like to bid on some contracts, but I suppose that we have to wait until it clears. Any idea how long that could take? If you've done the updates, shouldn't take that long. I mean, a couple weeks, maybe a month tops. You could reach out like the Federal Service Desk. You can put a ticket in for it. But I'm not seeing it taking as long, I guess what I'm trying to say, as actually getting the first registration in. You've already done that. You just let it expire. So you had to go through and answer the questions to update it. It should not take as long. And it takes 1 to 2 months to get the full registrations in. So I think it should take less than that. So I don't think it should really impact you too much. Take the next week or two, and sometimes it takes that much to put a response together anyways. So hopefully by the time you're submitting bids, that's cleared anyways. If it was going to be something that was multiple months, I would say, kind of like hold off. Sharon says, I'll subscribe to your channel. Appreciate it, Sharon. Yeah, we're definitely here to help. T says, hey, I just got a letter on Monday stating my registration is active. I have no clue what to do next. Help. So if you're registered at SAM.gov, you got that email from the DLA saying, here's your cage code. And you also got your UIE number, unique entity ID, or UEI number. You've been given your lease on life. You're let off the leash, right? What you need to do is learn how to bid and win. So what I would recommend, and hey guys, here's a free resource for you. I created a couple months ago. It's like the latest and greatest of everything I've learned from working with coaching clients, plus me being in the space almost 10 years now. I created a free kind of like masterclass on what to do next and how to overcome and avoid those common hurdles. If you just go to my website, I've got a free training there. Let me just pull that up. So for anybody who's wanting to just like, what do I do next? Kind of like we're getting in this question. I could tell you what to do, but I have a free training that goes into a lot of depth. Just enroll here. It's free. I'll go ahead and just put the link in the chat as well. So the link for the free masterclass is there. And I think that's going to really help you out a lot. I mean, that's exactly what it was designed for. So Derek is an MVP. Thanks for sharing value with us. You are appreciated. Hey, thanks, man. I try. I'm just super passionate about small businesses. And I've seen those who struggle a lot when I was doing a lot of like the winning myself in my early years. And once I found out how much misinformation is in the space and how much of the scenic route everybody has to take instead of just getting to what matters, which is why I'm so bold, which is why I do have a sharp kind of edge to me, because I've seen tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars wasted and years, if not multiple years wasted. And then some people just kind of get a bad taste in their mouth about the industry. I'm trying to combat that and fight that. And that's why I'm so passionate. So thank you. So our corporation's SAM registration status is listed as inactive. So you need to be active. So you need to activate it, unless you're telling me you already did that and now you're just waiting for that activation to come through for the update. Inactive is not the same as expired. So I probably would unfortunately reach out to the Federal Service Desk and ask them if it's not telling you why it's inactive. Usually, yeah, I don't want to weigh in too much because I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. I'm not the Federal Service Desk, so I would have to unfortunately have you refer to them. Angela, do you help with certifications? No, I don't. And I don't recommend those who are newly registered in SAM to start going after certifications unless it's the woman-owned cert, because it's pretty easy. Just upload some documents and you pretty much can get it. If you're talking about Hub Zone, AA, or Service Disabled, those take more time. And if you're trying to get in services or you like the bids we look at, these are all small business set aside. None of these are woman-owned small business set aside. So as long as you're small business, which you are, then you don't even need the certs. You know, this is, sometimes I group it with shiny objects, but it is a great thing to grow into. But it's just, if you're doing all the things, you're spending the next 6, 9, 12 months trying to do all the things. Let me get all the set asides, let me collect them like they're Pokemon. Let me, make it the perfect CAPE statement. I'm going to do a month on that. I'm going to do a month on the perfect website. I'm going to try to, get into some SBA programs. I'm going to try to JV. I'm going to try to get on GSA schedule. So much time and money is going to be spent avoiding the main thing. So if you want to do a quick WOSB, Angela, I'm all for that. But if you're looking for 8A, you should probably wait 2 years anyways, because you have to be in business for 2 years to even get approved and accepted. And then the Hub Zone and the Veteran Owned, they are a bit more involved. They take more time. It's just a lot of paperwork. And I don't want you to get distracted. I don't want you to get bogged down if that's the stage that you're in. But I don't do anything with that. Go to the PTACs. They're free. They can help. Keyshawn Williams, hey, I'm new here. My company specializes in aviation. Cool. I'm interested in reselling aviation parts and supplies and providing air cargo services to the federal government. What should I do? What should you do? Same thing anybody should do, I suppose. Number one, what I tell everybody, and again, this is in the free masterclass, spend an uncomfortable amount of time on SAM. Spend weeks, month, if need be, ensuring the government's buying what you want to do. So you don't want to approach federal contracting saying, this is what I want to do, and then get registered and jump through all these hoops, and then you fall flat. And this is what I call hitting the wall, right? Because you didn't do your homework first. So do the homework first, even before getting registered in SAM, to make sure I'm seeing a bid for this. I'm seeing a bid for this. I'm seeing a bid for this. Yes, there's definitely stuff for me to go after. Let me get registered, and then let me learn how to bid and win and do compliant bids and competitive bids and all that stuff too. Then it makes sense to do that, but we don't want to do things backwards. So that's what you should do to begin with. Jay Storm, we completed updates. The Federal Service Desk is using a new system, so the personnel couldn't tell us anything. Sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, it's just kind of, it's a mess. I said man, I don't know if it's man or woman, but Jay Storm, sorry to hear that, that you completed the updates. They should do a ticket. You need to do a ticket for them saying it's still showing non-active. The masterclass is very cool. Hey, it sounds like you've already gone through that. So thanks for sharing that as well. Gone through it 3 times. It's a lot of information jam-packed into about an hour, but don't let the duration fool you. I'm a big believer in less is more, and I don't want to give you like a 5-hour thing to go through. I'd rather give you like an hour thing to go through that you're going to do in 10 or 15 minute chunks, because the information is so kind of pragmatic. So definitely check that out. Thank you so much. I appreciate it 100%. Glassy, will you engage one with new business who has no clue what to do? Again, Glassy, I would recommend checking out my masterclass if you have not done that yet. The goal is, guys, get registered in SAM, have a clear offering, find bids that are a close match for your business, and then I can help you beyond that point. Okay. All that other stuff you should be able to do on your own. Registering you can do on your own. You can have the PTAC help you for free, and you should have an idea of those services that you want to offer. Get clear on that. Then once you're finding bids and you're like, man, this is overwhelming, I don't know what to do, then that's what we do in the coaching program. Okay. And we pull people off one-on-one, not like the chat, not like what we do here on YouTube. We have real conversations. You need to talk for 20 minutes. We want to pull up a screen and look at a bid and go through it. That's what we do in the coaching. You want me to look at your proposal before you send it off. That's why the value is extremely high with the coaching, because it is really eliminating any of these deeper level doubts and challenges that you're going to be having. But before you're ready to take advantage of that, you just got to go do this groundwork first. Have a clear offer, get registered in SAM, and then start finding bids that are a close match. And then you find you need help with those. If you don't need help with them and you can do it on your own, you don't need me or you don't need anybody. But if you're wanting the confidence, the compliance, even just the proposal templates, all that sort of stuff, all that is rolled in as part of the coaching. And I roll it in as part of the coaching because I don't want to just give you templates and then you don't know how to use them. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen that in the past, which is why we've made some changes recently, because my goal is for you to transform. My goal is not to just like give you a product or give you a thing that you are still going to struggle to use. I don't want to give you a new problem. I want you to break through, have a breakthrough. I want you to have a transformation. I want you to start bidding. I want you to start winning. And the best way for me to ensure that you're doing that, and that's what you want, is for us to be on calls. You know what I mean? So that's why it's tied to the coaching calls as well. Gold pipe, due to how slow SAM is, the DPC posted a class deviation allowing DODCOs to award to vendors who are waiting on registration to go through. That's actually pretty cool to know. So yeah, because they know, hey, maybe you're a perfect fit and you're, able to bid on this and you're who we want, but it's because of us that you're not getting your SAM registration. You're saying they're allowing a justification to kind of deviate until this bottleneck gets taken care of. That's pretty cool. Thanks for letting us know that, Gold Pipe. Leighton Wright, with your first contract, did your company have to pay up front for the salt? How does that work? To be clear, it wasn't my company. I tell everybody it wasn't my company. I worked for a small government contractor for 5 years. That's how I got started out. I won many contracts myself for their business. You always pay up front. The government never fronts you the money. Never, ever, ever. Okay. So you have to have terms with the sub, because sometimes the sub will give you net 30 terms, right? And then you get net 30 terms with the government. So you're not floating as long as you think you have to, right? Thoughts on buying Bitcoin with an LLC? Not my space. I have no comment on that. Jay Storm, thank you for your help. Dustin, I'm a guy, but perhaps I should update my YouTube profile also. Hey, that's cool. It's Derek. It's not Dustin. So I guess we're even on that for sure. All right, guys. Well, I think we're out of questions and we've gone a little bit over today. How would you start when you don't have any past performance? Check out the masterclass. The masterclass tells you what to do when you don't have past performance. I'll post it one more time. There's a number of ways to go after bids when you don't have past performance. We talk about that in the masterclass as well. Yep. All right, guys. So thanks for hanging out. Again, if you liked the video today, smash that like button. If you're new, you're checking us out for the first time, or you're just watching this and you're not subscribed to the channel yet, consider subscribing so that you don't miss notifications for future lives. That way you can continue to ask your questions on future episodes. Thanks for hanging out today, guys. Yep, just checking the chat here as well, making sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, thanks for checking us out, and we will see you all very soon on the next live. Take care.